Your host Christian Trinity, featuring Christian Prince, an educational Christian video.
The Europeans wanted used us as livestock, but they valued our lives in that they wanted us to breed us. Okay, so we were able to survive. But the opposite happened with the Islamic, because I think after the uprising you spoke about, the practice has been to castrate, to kill the males for the Islamic slaves, kill the African males, adult males, and castrate the boys. And the statistics show that it's about 90% of the boys would die from infection and the journey across the Sahara. And what they consider castration is not just the testicles, but they also cut off the penis, so a lot of them would bleed to death.
Yeah.
So the problem is that the reason they did that is because of the uprising, and also they could not breed, they'd be more docile, and they would catch a much higher price as a eunuch. So they would be able to sell a eunuch slave for like 5 to 6 times the price of an uncastrated male. So they did not mind the sacrifice of 90% of the young boys dying.
Well,
And even the females, what they did as they do with the camels, they insert in the camel, to make this camel sterile, they insert a stone into the uterus. I think they did the same with the African females to prevent them from being fertile, and just have them as sex slaves, as well as the circumcision.
In the beginning, they did not mind them to breed so they can have more slaves, but when they become big in number, they start doing this because they want to control the population. So they treat them the same as, like, I want to have one male for the cows I have. I don't want to have many males, like one is enough. And then when we have enough, we don't want any more, so we kill them all, or no more babies. The history of slavery in the Middle East is horrible. But the irony is, when they speak, the hypocrite Muslims, when they go speaking to African man, they say to him, do you know what the white man did to you? But they will not say what the Arab man did to you, because the one who captured the slave and sold the slave is the Arab white Muslim. It's not the European. Until now, in Mauritania, if you check right now in Mauritania, you will see the number of slavery is scary. Until now, Mauritania. And the funny, Joe Biden, he meet with their president, and he thanked him for all the advanced things in Mauritania. Advanced slavery.
Disgusting.
Yeah. So we know how the world today, the world of hypocrisy. But I'm so glad that you said you are from the Caribbean. I hope you are spreading knowledge between your friends, your family, making people aware of how trashy Islam, because this is what they do. They go to African and they say to them, okay, let us see what the white man did to you. But they cannot, and they will notice that Muslims, because they are hypocrite, they will not say that to a white man. Why didn't say, hey, white man, do you know what you did to the black? No, they say the sentence only to an African person, to use a bad spot in his history to make him reject Christianity. But what does it have to do with Christ? How many black slave Muhammad he owned, and how many black slave Jesus owned? Then we can find which one we should follow. The one who owned slaves, tortured slaves, killed slaves, or the one who never owned, he don't own anything. I mean, Jesus never have a house. So we as a Christian, the best example for us is not a person, his name is a Christian Prince. Is a person, his name is Jesus the Christ. So if a person, he is a Christian wearing a cross, does not make him Christian by the cross, it make him a Christian by following Jesus. So if he is a Christian by name, that means he is not following Jesus. So the question is, where Jesus says go and get the black slaves and enslave them, where Jesus said go and treat, like Muslim, they can go and find verses about slavery in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, a Hebrew man, he offered himself as a slave for certain time. So slavery for them have a different even meaning. As an example,
7 years or something like that.
right, you borrow money from somebody, you cannot pay him back. So what you will do, you say, okay, me or my family, I will be your slave for maximum of seven years. After that, you have to let him go. The other slave is war, you know, like the Jewish themselves, they've been enslaved, the whole nation being enslaved. So those people, they enslave us, we go at war with them, and we will do to them what they did to us. It was not for the purpose of slavery. The Jews, they were not attacking their neighbors just to enslave. The Jews, they were attacking neighbors who they attacked them and enslaved them. The whole nation enslaved twice. And in history, we know that the Assyrian, they enslaved the Jews. The Assyrian, they were white. And the Egyptian, who they are African, they enslaved the Israeli. So African, they enslave slaves too. Correct?
Yes, correct.
So like in the Roman, they have slaves who they are white, and they have slaves who they are black, and they have slaves who they are Indian. They have a slave from every nation.
In Christ, there's no slave, no free.
Exactly.
Everyone is free.
Free and slave.
We're all children of God.
Well, when the Bible mentions free, there's no difference between free and slave. Mention that we are equal, even though in the society our situation is not the same. But in the eyes of Christ, all is equal. So the Bible was teaching Christians that you should treat the one who is a slave as a child of God, even though you have no control of it, because this is how the country is. This is how the Roman are. So maybe we cannot free them, but we should not do what they do. People, there's a huge difference between I encourage sin and practice sin and acknowledge it to be good, and by having someone saying to me that sin is rejected, sin is not allowed, as Jesus said to the women, go and sin no more. Muhammad, he encouraged sin, he encouraged insulting people, encouraged abusing people, encouraged even abusing women. Even women who they are free, they are abused in Islam. So what about slave? Imagine, if a woman, she is a free woman, we can beat her. So what the Muslim, they do to a black slave woman? Right?
Islam really teaches them to break every single one of the 10 commandments.
And the humanity.
Which is,
Islam is inhumane. Islam is inhumane. And this is why we challenge the Muslim to come and join us. But look at them, coward. They don't dare because they knew.
They say that because they have nothing to stand on, no foot to stand on.
But if I am,
it's a big,
if I am a person who is ignorant, who know nothing about Islam, you will see the Muslim lined up here to show me the Prophet says that all of you are equal in front of Allah, black and white, etc. This is fake hadith. Same time, let us say if it's true. If it's true, why Muhammad did not free his slaves? So that means Muhammad was hypocrite. Because if I say something and I do something else, that means I am a hypocrite man. Muhammad said to them, don't, the Quran says, stay away from women when they have their period. For period is a hurt. What Muhammad do? Muhammad, he fondle his wives when they have their period. So Muhammad, he have a history of saying something and doing the opposite. He cannot be the person who can teach me ethic.
No, he has no ethic whatsoever. To me, he's the most evil man out there. And all these gangs, it seems like the mafia has taken his pattern. All the drug lords is all from the Islamic.
Which group of white people kidnapping African these days? It
Nobody.
is Muslims only.
Yeah.
Muslims in
Muslims, yeah.
Nigeria, Muslims in Kenya, Muslims in Senegal, Muslims in etc. So West Africa, Muslims wherever they go, they are the one who in Philippines. Like which country, which location is not secure and not safe? Thailand is safe. You go to South Thailand, you are not. Philippines is safe. You go to South Philippines, you are not. Indonesia is safe as long as you don't live in a Muslim area. So wherever you go and there is Muslim majority, the country is messed up. And even if they are minority, they will mess up the country too. It's a fact.
in the Caribbean, we're having a big challenge because they have been the main station being broadcast these days is Al Jazeera, which is a serious poison. And
Yeah,
then Saudi
and
Arabia is coming to the countries to give them loans.
you
I
see,
keep telling them that they must be
yeah,
careful because
and always loan have to come with some return, you know, like what you would do for us.
exactly.
Yeah, the money. Yeah, Jazeera, Qatar, money, you know, yeah. The Quran mentioned about buying heart, right? You know that?
Oh
Al-Mu'allaf.
no, I don't know.
Yeah, the Quran, like, the ones who killed the grandsons of Muhammad,
Uh,
they killed him because Muhammad, he bought them, not as slaves, he bought their heart. So the story of Abu Sufyan, the caliphate who killed the family of Ali, Muhammad, he bought them by money. So the Quran says you spend your money on those who they are al-mu'allafa qulubahum, which mean their heart, they don't like Islam, but they like money. So what do? You give them money, let them convert to Islam. Chapter 9, verse number 60. All right? So here it says that the charities, by the way, is a theft. Because this is now the Muslim, they go and they attack their neighbors, they steal money, and now they are dividing the money. So now part of it will go to the poor Muslims who they are going to war too. And this is how it works. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَ قُلُوبَهُم. And those who their heart is reclined. Reclining for what? They don't want Islam.
so they buy
All
them
right?
off.
Yeah. So, and here, by the way, Muhammad, he forbid them from freeing slaves. Here they say to you, and for freeing slaves. That's not true. This is for freeing people who they are captured by the enemy. So like let's say, we are going at war, and then you capture some of my men. So I offer you money to free them. This is not about freeing slaves. But here, about buying the heart of those who don't want to believe Islam. And you can read the interpretation about it. And you will find that the most powerful family in the history of Islam, they never believe in Islam. They converted because Muhammad gave them gold and silver. And later, because they don't believe in Islam, they hijack. Yeah, they are gang. Yeah. Abu Sufyan, Bani Umayyah, those are gang. They are criminals. They don't believe in Islam, but they found Islam as an opportunity. Muhammad offered them money, position, and later they took over the whole religion and they became the most powerful caliphate in the history of Islam. In fact, most of Muslim countries who converted to Islam by sword converted through this family who Muhammad bought their heart by money. Yeah.
Mafia type of gang.
Yeah, and you can go and read the history behind this verse here about the ones who their heart is reclined to Islam. They don't want Islam. This is why you see the verses in the Quran says that a group of the Arabs, they say, all the Arab, we believe. Muhammad, he made a verse claiming Allah told him to tell them, you believe not and faith never enter your heart, but you should say, we are Muslims. Okay, how they are not believing and and believe and faith never enter their heart, but they should call themselves Muslims. You see?
It's just an opportunity. That's why I call him for profit. Everything is just for profit.
Exactly. You just say I'm a prophet. Doesn't matter you believe or not. So it says it clearly, the desert Arab, they say, we have believed, saying you believe not, but say we surrender to Islam. Not, by the way, it doesn't say submitted. This is false translation. The word here, aslamna, Islam means surrender. Islam does not mean anything except surrender. The translation here is very false. So if you go to different translation, you will see right away, the word submission became surrender. You see, surrender. This is the correct translation. Surrender. The word Islam means surrender. The word salam is peace. Salam is the opposite of Islam. Like, like in English, you say known and unknown, So this
Salam versus
Yeah, this is why.
Okay.
They are different. They are different words. They are the opposite. So,
Okay. Okay.
aslamna, it means we surrender. Peace means salam. Salam coming from the word shalom.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's not the same word. They lie. They say it means submission. That's false. Even some Christians, because they are ignorant, they keep saying Islam means submission. We correct them. We say to them, don't say that. Like David Wood, apostate prophet. We keep saying, don't say that. And they keep saying Islam means submission. As if that's it. Because they don't want to agree that they are wrong. So they decide to repeat the same mistake. But Islam, when you say
It's
submission,
surrender.
when you say Islam means submission, actually you are promoting Islam because submission is something you do willingly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Surrender
those
is
exactly
against your
so
will.
surrender here is a war. How we can prove that this is about war? Yeah, the verse before it. The other chapter says that if you don't convert, we will kill you.
Oh.
Yeah. Chapter 4, chapter 48, verse
Oh.
number 16. Say to the desert Arab who lagged behind, which means they did not convert to Islam, you will be called against people of great might, and you will fight them unless you surrender. You see, again, the Eli in translation. See? Unless you surrender. So this verse clearly prove that the Arab, they converted to Islam because of the terror, not because Islam is a good religion. They did not submit, they surrender. Here we go. Chapter 48, verse number 16. So you will not join Islam? No problem. You will be called for fight against who? The Muslims. They are people of mighty warfare, and you shall fight them, or they shall surrender. Then, if you obey Allah, you surrender, you obey Allah, okay, no problem, you're fine. Just surrender. Don't say or surrender. Don't do you believe or not? Who care?
It's crazy.
All right, my friend.
It's
Thank you very
crazy.
much. I will.
But thank you very
Good
much.
to have
You're
you.
really doing fantastic work. Keep up the good work. May God bless you.
Yeah, and I would like to support people in your country. So if you like me to do a special occasion for them, I will be happy to do so. All right.
Okay, I will see what I can organize. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Take care. Bye bye. Uh, you know, if you want to see discrimination, you will find that black in the Middle East and in Islamic country are the most discriminated. You can go right now, search discriminating black in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Libya, in Egypt. I mean, this is where black are horribly treated. Horribly treated in Muslim countries. Muslims themselves, they cannot even find a human right until they go to the kuffar land. There's no freedom of speech. There's no freedom of opinion. There's no freedom of vote. There's no freedom of having a government as you wish. No freedom of anything. And then they say that they are the one who have the best ethic. Well, if you have the best ethic, you will not run from a country, have the best ethic. You will stay in it. You run from there because it have a horrible ethic. Again, as the Lord said, from their fruits you shall know them. God is good, so is Jesus. I mean to that.
If you enjoyed this video, consider buying me a coffee. With that, you be helping me put out more educational Christian videos. Thank you.